Now, welcome to the programme. We hope you had a great weekend. There's a lot of people heading to shops today. Again, be patient. And to all the staff and management in the particular retails that are opening today, I want to wish you the very best. It's been a long time in coming. A lot of people are still, I suppose, wondering about what's going to happen and how it's going to play out. And good luck with everybody doing the social distancing and all the different systems that have been put in place at retail outlets. I know a lot of effort has been made by retailers across Waterford City, County, Tramore, Dungarvan, Cappoquin, Lismore, all over South Kilkenny and all over the country. So the very best of luck to you. We're going to hear from some voices in Waterford City Centre in a minute. I'm going to talk to our reporter on the scene, Owen Dalton. We're going to hear also from Tom Welch Glass about his new initiatives and how to keep the business going. I'm going to hear with voices from the protest on Saturday. Catherine Keary is going to be on to us from Tramore as well, and hopefully going to talk to some hoteliers as well. Jim Beglin, we may be able to get to talk to Jim. If not, we'll talk to Matt about Jim, and we're going to hear from St Vincent de Paul. We're also going to do a little piece around 11:30 in collaboration with the Suicide or Survive SOS Challenge that we are doing, and hear a report that Mary O'Neill did. And we're going to hear some poetry as well. So an awful lot coming up in the programme. And also, if you're heading to Tramore, if you're heading to Clonea, heading to Ardmore, if you haven't been to the beach in 3 months, let us know what you think, please. 083 3333 975, our text and WhatsApp number. Or you can call Laura on 051 846 123. Owen Dalton, good morning.
Good morning, Damien.
How are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm currently just here in town, just off John Roberts Square. There's, I suppose, bibs and drabs of people around this morning so far.
So it's quiet, and what we've been told is that the government is advising all retailers that are due to open this morning not to open until 10:30. So people are just getting, I suppose, used to this idea that there will be a staggered opening hours, and that's mainly to apply for busy city centres, that they don't want everybody coming in at the same time. So just a few people around this morning, we understand that. You've been talking to a few different people about the plans and preparations they're putting in place, have you?
Yes. So I suppose in Waterford, in the city centre, a few stores are opening at 10:30. Others have opened the doors at 9:30. They're perhaps viewing maybe more the directive as maybe more applying to maybe the likes of Dublin city centre. The likes of Alfie Hales are opening at 10:30. Tony Fitzgerald's Menswear is open to 9:30, and I was speaking with Catherine Kavanagh from the Book Centre, and they've opened their doors at 9:30. There was a few customers outside eagerly awaiting to pop in and grab something. And I suppose the businesses have had the last couple of months to prepare for, and customers as well have had the last couple of months to prepare for social distancing and to understand how to, I suppose, conduct yourself, in an actual store. So there didn't seem to be too much concern even around that.
Yeah.
And I was speaking to Catherine Kavanagh from the Book Centre.
Yeah, well, let's play the little clip that you got of Catherine. Here's Catherine Kavanagh from the Book Centre and their plans for this morning.
A big day, yeah. We are excited. We're delighted to be able to open the doors again, but we're also anxious. Look, I'm sure after half an hour with the door open, that will all settle. Great to have all the staff back in the shop again.
There was already a couple of people, I think, queuing up as well just outside. You've opened the doors at 9:30.
Yeah. We opened the doors at 9:30, yeah. We just had a little bit of training to do with all the staff. It's our first time being together since the 16th of March. So we just had to have a little catch up ourselves, and great to have a few customers queuing outside the door. We've had great feedback since we announced that we're opening the doors today.
I suppose one of the great appeals of any bookshop is the browsing. How does the browsing work, given the restrictions? Can you browse?
Well, I suppose ideally we would like people to come in knowing exactly what they want. Look, we have always been in the business that you come in and you sit down and you can have a read of your book and have a cup of coffee. Unfortunately, that has changed for the moment. We have expert staff here, so if you come in and you're not 100% sure of what you want, they're well able to make recommendations. I suppose the whole thing at the moment is to try and keep customers moving, keep people moving in the shop.
So we're kind of overlooking the layout of the store here. Can you just explain just what you've done essentially to keep the customers moving?
Well, we have a one-way system coming in and again exiting the store. We have areas cordoned off. We have perspex up at the till points and at the front till. Essentially to protect our staff, but also to protect our customers.
To protect the staff and the customers. And we're just going to play the little clip. You got a clip of a customer going into the book centre this morning, Owen, did you?
I did. A very excited woman, actually. I think she described it as being let out of jail.
OK, here's this lady.
I'm so happy to be out of my house in town, which I haven't seen for, 12 weeks? Absolutely. That's all. I'm hanging. I had no books. I'm going square-eyed from watching television and that Netflix.
You're telling me that you felt like you're out of jail?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Locked in with my mad husband. Him on that end of the house and me on that end of the house.
What's on the shopping list for today?
Books and coffee outside, distancing.
You didn't get her name, Owen, by the way, did you?
No, unsurprisingly, she was not up for giving her name.
Her mad husband. I'd say she's representative of a lot of people. We'll be talking to Lisa Fitzgerald about different things now in a few minutes regarding coffee and stuff like that. Generally, I'd say there's going to be a lovely jubilant feeling around retailing today. Controlled jubilation, obviously, Owen.
Yeah, I think it will. I suppose because a lot of the stores that are actually reopening they're mainly independent retailers from what you can see, or there would be stores like, I suppose, like the book centre would have a couple of stores around the country, but its store in Waterford would be so closely linked with Waterford. So I think that's where it could be, just like you say, just really lovely feeling. I suppose just to say as well, for the book centre, and for other stores, they're not making, say, the wearing of face masks mandatory, but they are asking customers, if you can, to wear them. But they're not making it a cast iron rule. And say even with the likes of, go back to the book centre, upstairs with scholars, the space, as Catherine was outlining to me, is a bit more restricted upstairs. So they're asking customers to shop online for any school books and stationery for the time being. OK,
Owen, thank you for an excellent report. Mind yourself, and we'll talk to you again soon, OK?
Thanks, Damien.
Thank you very much. I think we've got Lisa on the line there. Lisa Fitzgerald, co-owner of Number 9 Restaurant and Carter's Cafe. Good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you? I'm
good, thanks. I'm good. Are you excited?
Yes, we are. Tentatively excited. It is. I heard home there, and it's right. There's a lovely feeling to see everybody, the local workers in town, and everybody's shouting out hello and nice to see each other. And we're obviously delighted to be in Carter's, serving them their morning coffee. And it is very nice. People are being very, it is jubilant. It's very happy. But everybody's being very careful. And you can see people are following a protocol. They're following guidelines. There's no, people see the markers on the ground. And it's brilliant. It's lovely. And it's a lovely sunny day.
Yeah, and the government have spoken about that, and the medical experts about the personal responsibility that people have to do now, and they're doing that. And in terms of face masks, like you're not making it mandatory, are you?
For customers, no. We are we have a personal responsibility for our staff and ourselves, and we have all our new screens in place. We have the 2 metres, a new queuing system. We have an in and outdoor. We're really lucky to have that situation. So people come in on the main Barnes Strand Street door, and they exit then out onto the side door, into George's Court, and come back out onto Barnes Strand Street. So it really is working really well. People are working through it, and it's nice. It's nice. It's obviously not really busy in town, which is good. Like, we don't, it's not a day for everybody piling into town and ruining all the hard work people have built up. Like the lovely community spirit that people have built up over the last few months. It's like an extended snow, really, that we all realise how important how important our local shops are to us.
Yes.
And we've set up Carter's completely following all the guidelines, and it's great just to see people again, and a little bit of life back in town, and we're here for the long haul. So this is a slowly baby steps, I think, for all of us.
And has it cost you much? Maybe you don't want to reveal, but obviously you've had to spend hundreds on all these extra measures you've put in place for safety measures. Does the government give you grants for that, or is that money out of your own pocket?
Well, it's all varied. There's lots of different grants around, but a lot at the end of the day, the physical work, the actual put in place of screens and things like that. That's all cost for ourselves that we have to put. So there are extra costs on local businesses, and I suppose that's why it's harder for the larger businesses, because there's so much more they have to do for more places. But there are extra costs involved. But it's more important that the customers know we've put these in place, and they're there for them to keep all of us well. And I think people will appreciate that, and we'll just have to, it's just, it's an overused word, the new normal. But I think we're all quite quickly getting into it, and I think people are just happy to be able to, go for a walk into town and pick up a coffee, and a little treat. I think we all deserve a little treat. We were just talking about it. Everybody's happy to be able to pick it up and, wave hello to people we haven't seen for a long time.
Yeah, no, that you put it very well. Lisa, to you and your staff and all the family, the best of luck.
Thanks a million, David. Thank you. Bye-bye.
It's lovely to talk to you. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks very much. Lisa Fitzgerald there, co-owner of Number 9 Restaurant and also Carter's Cafe. What do you think? Let us know, please. 083 333 975. We did a piece on Friday about what you missed most in lockdown. What are you most looking forward to? Text us in, please, any of your little thoughts on that. Is it a coffee in a place like Carter's? Is it going down to Tramore? I'd say Tramore is going to be busy this afternoon. So again, maintain your social distancing, folks. Next, we're going to talk to a man who is helping reinvent his business and providing a new service for customers. Now, it's going to be a big week for many businesses, including the business of football. And looking at the Waterford FC Blues supporters page over the weekend, Shane Murphy was writing a very big week ahead for the club. There's going to be meetings on Thursday between the FAI and all clubs and about restarting training and other such matters. So we're going to keep abreast of that, and we will hopefully have some developments on that as the week transpires. Another big week for businesses. Now, TW Glass, Tom Welch Glass, he's a very well-known man, a very well-known family. And a lot of people would know the pub up in Ballybricken. And he talks about this. I went over to him on Friday afternoon, just after the Taoiseach had announced the easing of restrictions, I suppose, phase 2 plus, if you want to call it like that. And today is the start of that. So Tom is reconfiguring some of his business models to provide businesses with glass and beautiful sort of screens that would help if you have a counter service. And a lot of people will know a lot of the names he's talking about here, especially his dad. So here's the little chat I had with Tom Walsh. So we're just out here on the Six Crossroads Industrial Estate. Things are beginning to start moving. A few cars and a bit of activity around. Outside the big sign saying mirrors.ie, twglass.ie, and inside we've got Tom.
Damien, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you keeping?
Good, thanks. You're very welcome.
Thanks very much. It's Friday afternoon. The Taoiseach has just announced a little bit of easing of restrictions. I'd say you'd be glad to hear that, as lots of people are.
Absolutely. It's great to have the restrictions lifted now, Damien, and the government have done a very good job. Let's move forward now.
Yeah, it's the next phase, as they say.
Absolutely.
Next phase.
Absolutely.
So we're in here. It's like something you'd see at an amusement park. We're in the mirrors, the hall of mirrors. You've got mirrors all over the walls here. They look fabulous. They're all, some of them are 4, 5, 6 foot. They're massive. They're brilliant. Yeah. It's some sight to see when you come in here.
Yeah, look, we were out here the last 5 years, Damien. We were originally started on the Yellow Road in 1998, and I opened up the framing studio on the Yellow Road, and we were there for 10 successful years. We sold it in 2008 and we moved on, and we're here now with a lovely facility on the Six Crossroads Business Park. Accessibility is great because we're on the link road, and we've a very visible place out here as well, so which is great. We have a showroom here where we display all our mirrors, which people can come and have a look, or they can look online. We're mirrors.ie. We're very lucky to get the domain name. I have it the last 15 years, and we've been selling. It's a great one, Damien, because it's what we wanted, and we've been selling online for 15 years, and doing well now, thank God.
I see signs there. Customs make this mirror to any size, so you can basically get your mirrors made to whatever size you want.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. We offer a great service. Like, we have a lot of round and we had a lot of oval mirrors, which are all on display, and a lot of big rectangle and full-length mirrors we can make to any size then as well. You know?
Some people may not want to look too closely at mirrors now after 3 months of lockdown. Lock-in.
Well, you know what? We since when the lockdown came, we had quite a good success online with the mirrors. But then when the good sunshine came, people went back out to the gardens. But we've been doing reasonably well online with mirrors.ie. And believe it or not, we have a TWGlass.ie, a sister company as well. My colleague works with me, Tom Whelan. Tom used to work with Carney Glass for over 24 years. He's a smashing lad, and he really is a very good old school glazer. So Tom is great. But we've been doing a lot of gyms. People are doing home gyms at home now. So it's amazing.
We'll walk a little bit more here. I see this very, very impressive display behind a beautiful glass. And we've got Guinness bottles and a very strange looking contraption. Talk to me about this.
Yeah, this is all part of me, Damien, where I grew up and part of me. It's an old Guinness bottle machine. My grandfather, my father, my grandfather and grandmother, Mary and Jim Welch of 40 Ballybricken ran Welch's pub. And my dad then came in the late 50s and took over the pub. But basically what this is, it's an old machine with all the old bottles, all the old glasses, and grandmother's name, Mary Welch, 40 Ballybricken, is on the labels. So the
Guinness would be in the sort of a trough is the wrong word, but some kind of a container area.
It's a Guinness bat.
Guinness bat.
Yes, and the Guinness came up in timber casks from the Clyde of years ago, and the Guinness the Guinness barrel was on a stand, and then it was poured into the bat, and Daddy would be at the bottom of the bottling machine, and his brothers, and they'd be Walter and Jim, and they'd be just bottling away to heart's content, you know.
And these old bottles there, extra stout Guinness, and then you've got the glasses with the...
There's lovely old glasses there, in fact. They're the handle glass, the old handle glass, and the Guinness is a gold leaf, believe it or not, and they tell me that these were manufactured by Waterford Crystal down in Johnstown. So, and they're fabulous, and the gold leaf is really good on it now. It's really, really good on it as well. And all the old dumpling bottles, they're green and brown and different shapes and sizes. So look, it's lovely. Daddy had a great pub on Ballybricken. Daddy, as I said, he took over from grandfather and grandmother in the 50s. But Daddy ran a great house. It was a man's house, I suppose, originally. But Daddy had one rule, and the rule was no effing. He didn't like language at all. If you use language, you weren't welcome in Welch's. That was the rule. But Daddy ran a great...
And a lot of people would have a lot of memories.
Oh, great memories, you know. And I worked there. First of all, I finished school in 84, and I went to work as a fitter with Dominic Ellickson over in Ellickson Engineering. True gentleman, Dominic. And then I stayed there for 9 years, and then I went into the pub with Daddy and my brother Brian. So that was 93 to 98. And the time came then we said, Daddy, Mammy said they would retire. So Mammy and Daddy sold the pub in 98. And I only moved a short little hop up the road, up to the Yellow Road from Ballybricken, and I bought a small shop from a guy called Joe Eacock, a lovely man. It used to be Phelan's old sweet shop on the Yellow Road, and it was closed down. It was closed down, Damien. And so I went in and I opened up a picture framing studio. Now, I wasn't the most studious, I suppose, in school, but a teacher, a guy called John Cullinan, who was my art teacher, lovely guy, I'm still friends with him to this day, living out in Tremor, lovely guy. He gave me all the information about all the arts, and so look, I took a pop, opened up the framing studio in 98, and then the framing, we were doing a lot of commercial work with all the hotels, it led into mirrors, so then we started the mirrors as well. So look, we've been doing well.
So I'm looking down here in the next phase, I suppose, of the big room here. We have these marvellous framing examples, I suppose, the corners and beautiful designs and beautiful colours.
All our framing swatches there. We started picture framing, Damien, in 98, and we're doing very well at the picture frame, and I'm still doing it for 22 years. So look, it's something I love. I love working with the arts, the colours, all the different paintings and pictures, and which is great. And we have a very good customer base that have been coming to me for years upon years.
Talk to me about COVID, and talk to me about things that you can offer clients in terms of going forward and protective screens.
Yeah, we're mainly glass. See, we have TWGlass.ie when Tom came on board. So what we work with a local company in the park, GenEng Engineering, lovely lads over there, and they supply us with the stainless steel posts and stainless steel clamps for the COVID screens. Now the COVID screen what we do is it's not a perspex, it's a 6.4 laminate glass. We can cut and we can polish on the day here in the shop.
And I'm looking at one here. So you've got one here in front of your counter.
That's right.
Very impressive, and you'll see this online. So it's effectively, it's beautiful. It's like a work of art in a way.
It's a lovely piece. Stainless steel and glass is a great combination, and we've had very good inquiries for it. We put one in our next door neighbours there, Blue Wall, and we have 3 to go into Harvey Travel there next week as well. So we're getting very good inquiries from them. It's a solid piece. It's kind of there for the long haul. The glass is very, very good. It's you can clean and wash the glass as well. And it's a safety glass. So if the glass breaks, it doesn't shatter. It just sticks all together. So yeah, we've been doing that. In terms
of cleaning, again, some people might like that. They might prefer that from Perspex. They'd say that looks more natural in some respects.
Yeah, it is. It's no problem cleaning as well. We have cloths here that clean as well. They're a microfiber cloth as well. So you wash with one with just a clear water, just a plain water, and you buffer with the other. But they're more durable. They're a hardened glass and steel. It just works very, very well.
And I presume then cost will come into it with different businesses. Some businesses might say, yeah, there is a need or a benefit from getting something like that compared to Perspex, and each business will judge it on their own merits.
Absolutely, Damien. But we have a very good cost price starting at $260 for counter clamps with a 6.4 polished laminate glass. So they're very, very good value, and it's been received well, and people are buying. So that's very good. So that's what it's all about.
Are you confident of the future? Are you one of these people that plans week by week? Do you look at this next phase and the next development as saying, okay, we've been around a good while, the business and the family name has survived many different recessions, many different changes, so you have to adapt. Like, this is a prime example of a business adapting.
Oh, absolutely, Damon. You have to adapt, you really do. We were there for the 2008 crash. We got through it. We were online, of course. We were selling mirrors.ie online. We're still online. TW Glass, we're gone online. We have a new website coming on board with mirrors.ie, and we got the TOV voucher from the Waterford Enterprise Board, which was marvellous. So we're moving ahead. We're on Instagram, mirrors.ie, and twglass.ie, and Facebook. So we'll be pushing all that. But we have to get through it. We will get through it. And please God, we'll be in a better place in another few months' time. So please God.
And before we go, Tom, I suppose family is so important as well, and family support in terms of business, and also it's just great to have friends and family around.
Oh, absolutely, Damien. Damien, would you believe I was over in the Little Sisters only yesterday, and my dad has been over there, and I spoke with him through the window for the first time in 13 weeks. And you know what? The care he's been receiving over there is fantastic. And, it was so lovely to see poor Daddy. Daddy is doing well. Daddy is 86 years old. He was married to a poor mum, Betty from my mum from Sally Park. And I'm one of 9 children. Daddy, he's just a marvellous, wonderful man. He ran a lovely pub on Ballybricken. He really did. And he chose all the best storytellers, the singers, the card players. The characters on Ballybricken were just fantastic. And it was Daddy's vocation. He loved the pub. And we spoke yesterday through the window of Ballybricken and all the old customers and all the old times and good times. Really, they were just fantastic. So family is so important in these present times.
And you'll hopefully, and all the family, get to see him a little bit more now over the next coming weeks.
Oh, absolutely. Myself and my sister Martina went over yesterday, and my brother Ger and Louise and John are going over today. So I have a brother Gary up in Athlone, and all the other lads then, Alan and Jim and Brian are going to see as well. So look, we are looking forward to seeing Daddy, and please God, we can take him out again and bring him for walks, short walks, and a cup of coffee, cup of tea, which would be lovely, Please God.
Tom, thanks very much.
You're very welcome, Damon. Thanks very much for calling. Thank you.
And that was Tom Walsh there, and the best of luck to Tom and everybody involved in the business. And any business that's reopening today, some texters in the square in Dungarvan, they've closed the square for roadworks. There's been no one in town for 3 months. As soon as it's due to reopen, they've closed off the parking spaces. I know there were issues, obviously, in terms of doing some of the work at the start of the COVID lockdown in terms of social distancing. That may have been an issue there. Caller says the civic offices in Dungarvan aren't open to the public at present. Any idea when they're going to reopen? We'll check that out for you. I miss the day centre in Dungarvan and all that goes on there with my friends. I can't wait to go back, says May Walsh. Any news on Shaw's reopening? Yes, we've been on to them and they're going to come back to us with a date regarding that. Spare a thought to some of the former Brinks Security Corps workers possibly going to lose their jobs after many years in September, says this texter. Paul Colgan from Virgin Media has texted, Irish retailers aren't holding their breath for the return of the customer. So-called high street operations will struggle with office workers being at home and reduced footfall. Retailers in retail parks may fare better. People could be more comfortable shopping there. Let us know what you think. 083 33 33 975. And a few lovely texts in. I know it's only a small thing and not important. A pure luxury, I know, but the really thing that I miss most and I can't wait is going out for a meal with family and friends. Can't wait to get back to that. Now, your texts and comments, some people asking about face masks. I think it would have been a wise move if the government made face coverings mandatory. Masks are about protecting us. Another person saying the government made a decision on wearing of masks by recommending them. They've not made them mandatory. I wish people would just accept this. Some people, for health reasons, can't wear them. No one is taking that into account. Good morning, says Lisa in Tramore. I'm really looking forward to getting back into town for the shopping. Can you tell me, please, are parking charges back in City Council car parks from this week or next? Next week, I understand. Shaw's reopening Wednesday, hours 10 o'clock until 5 p.m, says this texter. Now, why did hundreds of people, mainly young people, come out on Saturday in Waterford to protest at the killing of an American thousands of kilometres away? Why did they do so knowing the protest was officially cancelled? Why did one protester hold up a poster saying our ancestors may not have done so, but we will F you up? Why did other protesters hold up, say, black and white unite and fight? Why did they do so after so many, including themselves, have maintained social distancing so well during the COVID crisis? Speaking to some of them on the protest on Saturday, they did so because they feel racism is here in Ireland, that Ireland has a racism problem and it's not being addressed. They told me we can't become numb to it, that black people shouldn't have to fight for respect, that we just can't laugh off things if we hear a racist joke. They danced, they clapped, they shouted, they chanted, they didn't obey social distancing rules. They said they wanted to protest because if it hadn't been for protest, those 4 police officers in the United States would never have been charged. And they spoke to our reporter, Owen Dalton.
Yeah, I heard that. I often thought about that because I didn't want to come in here at all. I spent the whole 2 weeks literally contemplating not coming here. But here's one thing. I came to a conclusion right there in that moment when they told me that this thing was on. I decided that for me, I'm not speaking for everybody, for me, I'd rather go there, risk my life for what is right. I know the virus will pass. Racism, however, will still be there unless we do something about it.
People did try their best to social distance and everyone I saw was wearing a mask. I think it's just people are tired now and it was kind of, momentum had built up where we couldn't not go to it, like even with current circumstances, and I don't want anyone to take it as like a slap in the face or that we're not following restrictions. It was kind of just a feeling of it has to happen today or it just won't happen at all.
There's ways to work around it, to be fair, like the masks, gloves, anything you have, you can bring it out. But if they're trying to stop the protest, they shouldn't do that, to be fair. Like, we're trying to be hard and they're just trying to take it away from us.
I can just be responsible for myself, and to be responsible for myself, I stood on the edge, the periphery. I'm not going to condemn or judge anyone else. I'll speak for myself, and I balanced both today. I think I'm happy with my conscience today.
Well, I'm here the same reason as everybody else, you know, like racism, all this has kind of gone on long enough, and especially with the death of George Floyd and how it happened, I think that, you know, just racism and like discrimination, everyone's kind of tired of it. So, you know, we're here to stand and fight against it, really. It's something that we've kind of gone through all of our lives. And, you know, like whether young or old, we have to go, you know, grow up, and we have to go through it. So, you know, being able to, you know, especially the fact that I'm quite young, being able to like use, you know, the help of all my elders, the youngers as well, to fight against it, you know, like it has to be done.
Yeah, I would agree that it is something that unfortunately every black child has an experience of. Every black child can tell you a story of how they've been discriminated against, if not racially profiled against. So this is definitely a movement that is long overdue. It's not just about what's happening in America, because I hear a lot of people saying, why bring American issues to Ireland? Because Ireland is not innocent. Ireland has its own issues and it needs to be addressed.
It was breathtaking. Like, I was actually very happy to see the turnout. But many people showed up and it was just extravagant.
Came along, all the friends, all the boys, everyone you could bring out came out with them. It's good to have a lot of people out there like supporting Black Lives Matter. It's good to see that.
People say, well, it's distant, it's not to do with our lives here. It certainly is. We've treated our refugee and immigrant population through direct provision is shameful, and it needs to change, and really quickly.
I came here thinking, fighting like oppression, and I didn't see a group of people fight oppression. I saw unity. I saw strength in all of us, and it was empowering. That's what it was, empowering. And I pray that everybody's aware about what's going on in the world.
It was really good. It felt really powerful, like to kind of stand in solidarity with everyone. Like, obviously a lot of people are passionate about, and young people, and it was really nice to see everybody come together and show that in public. Like, it was lovely.
No matter who you are, racism is everywhere. This is not just in America. It's here in Waterford. Might be hidden, but it's here. It won't change today, it won't change tomorrow, but today it's a step number one for us to head towards the right direction.
It was really good, just to see everyone came together again after the original one was supposed to be cancelled, but, can't cancel killing black people, so we've all got to come out today.
So when giving talks to students over the last 20 years about journalism, I came to the conclusion there's two types of stories I abhor covering and reporting on, and they're child abuse and racism. I remember talking to Mount Science students not so long ago, and they were asking and looking at me in silence, how can you compare these two things? But they're both an attack on people. If you're a child, you're a child. If you're black, you're black. Both are about using power to dominate, to cause pain and suffering. Child abuse is abhorrent, racism is abhorrent. Like, why does a 20-year-old Waterford boy have to live with the fact that somebody's just told him he hates him because of his colour? Or a 17-year-old Waterford girl have to put up with somebody saying, hey, you monkey? One incident of child abuse can change a child's life forever. One racist abuse can make a person feel ashamed of being in their own skin. I think we've got to look at what John Hume had to say. Difference is what defines us, it's what makes us, it's what we should celebrate. We're all different, every single one of us. The European Union Agency of Fundamental Rights says Ireland is ranked second worst in the EU when it comes to racial violence against black people. 51% of black people have suffered verbal, physical and social media threats, they say, compared to an EU average, a shocking EU average of 30%. So it's difficult when you're white, I suppose, when somebody cracks a racist joke in your company or puts it up on a WhatsApp group. It's difficult because you're not laughing. You don't know what to say. You think the best thing to do is to say nothing. Don't upset the apple cart. But just imagine if you're a black person and you do say nothing. So racism comes in many different forms. English nationalism, extreme English nationalism, historically had a racist core. Many Irish suffering accordingly, some still do. But because we were racially abused doesn't mean that we can now abuse others. And racism thrives when indifference rules. Exactly what Imelda May had to say at the weekend.
You don't get to be racist and Irish. You don't get to be proud of your heritage, plights and fights for freedom while kneeling on the neck of another. You're not entitled to sing songs of heroes and martyrs, mothers and fathers who cried as they starved in a famine, or of brave-hearted, soft-spoken poets and artists lined up in a yard, blindfolded and bound while waiting for Godot or Point Blank to sound. We immigrated. We took refuge and so cannot refuse when it's our time to return the favour. Land stolen, spirits broken, bodies crushed and swollen, unholy tokens of Christ nailed to a tree. You hang round your neck like the noose of the free. Our colour pasty, our accents thick, hands like shovels from mortar and bricklaying every foundation of the cities you stand upon. Our suffering seeps from every stone your opportunities arise from. outstanding on the shoulders of your forefathers and foremothers who bore your mother's mother. Our music is for the righteous. Our joys are earned and well deserved, and serve to remind us to remember more blacks, more dogs, more Irish. Still labelled leprechauns, mix, paddies, louts. We're shouting to tell you our land, our laws are progressively out there. We're in a chrysalis state of emerging into a new and more beautiful era, 40 shades better. Unanimous in our rainbow vote, we've found our stereotypical pot of gold, and my God, it's good. So join us, because you don't get to be racist and Irish.
Now I'm going to talk to Catherine Keary in a minute from Red Lane. They've just had their staff meeting. Some texts and calls coming in. John phoned in to say, myself and others have been cocooned for 10 weeks. While I agree with the reason behind the protest, there were better times to do it. It's hard for us who've been stuck in to hear that people travelled beyond their 5k to attend the protest. Why didn't the guards do anything about it? Larry says it's a kick in the teeth to the health workers in the country if any of them pick up the disease. Another person saying the young people were ignored by the original organisers. In a way, youths are ignored many ways. They gave vent to their feelings, so well done to them. It wasn't easy. Another person saying it was an illegal mass gathering. It doesn't help, and it was an insult to health workers. And a person texting about Dick Hayes, as Dick Hayes used to say regarding stuff that you'd miss, where would you get it on a Thursday night? Great music, great company, great crack. Alfie's. Looking forward to getting it back. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning, Damien. How are you?
I'm wonderful, thanks. I'm wonderful. We've been talking to Lisa Fitzgerald, co-owner of Number 9 Restaurant. We had Catherine Kavanagh, the book centre. You were about to open your doors in 12 minutes' time. Yes. This is so exciting. Red Lane Boutique in Tramore. You've just had your staff meeting. How are you and how do you feel?
We're great. Everybody is delighted to be back to work, Damien, to be honest with you. There was great excitement here this morning. We've all been staggered over the last few weeks because we've been so busy online, but we have everybody back today now, and it's a very exciting day for us. Nobody slept a wink. Everybody came in this morning saying that they were, kind of having weird dreams and afraid their alarm wouldn't go off, and kind of nearly like the night before a sale, that kind of nervous excitement. But we're ready to go now. We're opening the doors at 11, so we're really, 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 really looking forward to seeing all our customers.
It just sounds so amazing and brilliant. And I'll talk to you a little bit in a minute about what you've put in place. But talk to me first. How have things been in the last 3 months? Because I knew one of the things you did over the last number of years was build up an online presence. How were online sales over the last 3 months?
Online sales were very strong. And to be honest with you, Damien, I was so grateful that we were kind of up and running and established online, and had our online customer base there before the pandemic, because it really was, it could have been the difference between us opening our doors again and not. You can't really afford to be closed for 3 months, and especially at this time of year for boutiques. Anybody with a boutique will know that in February, it's literally every penny that you have goes into stock for communions, confirmations and weddings. It's a no-brainer gamble every year, but unfortunately this year obviously it didn't pay off. So I know there's been a lot of casualties in the boutique trade around Ireland, and I'm just really grateful that we weren't one of them, to be honest.
And have you managed to maintain your complement of staff, or are some people coming back on maybe reduced hours, or what's the plan?
No, we're all back, Damien. Our hours are reduced in the sense that we're only going to be open our doors are only going to be open from 11 to 5, but we'll be here earlier and later for web orders and just the new protocol with cleaning and just kind of getting our heads together and making sure that all the staff are okay and that we're following the protocols and that the shop is cleaned to the standards, meet the guidelines.
I know staff have their own worries, but business owners, it must be stressful being at home over the last few months, and you want to do the best for your staff. You have responsibility for your staff in terms of making sure that they have jobs to come back to, but also you have to make sure you have a business that's viable as well. So that constant ebbing and toing and froing, it puts a lot of pressure on business owners like yourself, Catherine, I'm sure.
It was a roller coaster, as I'm calling it, the Corona coaster. Damien, since the start, when we shut our doors on, was it the 13th of March, I put the key in the door there, not knowing whether we'd ever open again, to be honest. And kind of there was a full week there of, uncertainty, what was going to happen, and actually at that point it wasn't the business, it was the health aspects, the images coming in from Italy and China, and, when you have elderly parents and that, it was just a week of worry, not so much about the business, but the health aspect. And then the business on top of that, it was a strange week. But then after that, Damien, I found that our web orders started picking up, but like all the names that were coming in were familiar. It was all our regulars buying gift vouchers, a lot of goodwill, Damien, while we were closed.
That's fabulous. That really is fabulous. I can hear the emotion in your voice, Catherine. The great news, the doors are about to reopen. We've now got 8 minutes to go. Again, it's not going to be a sales sort of fervour because everybody will be socially distanced. And I presume you'll be doing special sort of systems in place that if people come in, if they do handle certain items, you'll try to minimise the amount of garments that they're going to be handling.
We have an alarm going off here every half an hour. And when the alarm goes off, we have a full cleaning rota that kicks in every half an hour. So literally it's all the touch points are disinfected around the shop. All of our changing rooms are open. The garments are steamed at 130 degrees after they're tried on, or if we're too busy for that, they will be quarantined for 3 days on a rail downstairs. Our dressing rooms are all disinfected after everybody is in, and also the curtains and everything are steamed at 130 degrees. So literally it's like 99.9% safe to try on clothes now.
Yeah, and that's going to be so important for customer confidence, isn't it? Like, it's obviously cost you money to do and put in place all these different systems, but that's what's needed to get customers back and for them to be confident when they're trying on clothes.
Of course it is, and to be honest with you, Damien, like during the pandemic we were so busy online, I did have fleeting thoughts like, oh, this is a lot easier than, reopening the shop. Could I just continue doing this and not go to the hassle of reopening the shop? But what I discovered during the pandemic, and it was quite humbling, was that, we didn't want our shops closed, but our customers didn't either. So I kind of feel like it's really as a responsibility to reopen the doors and get going again.
Catherine. Listen, I'll let you go because you'll have to dry your tears now before in the next 6 minutes. And to you and all your staff, Catherine, the very, very best of luck to you. I really feel for you, and I think it's just fabulous and well done, okay?
Thanks, Damien. Thank you.
Thank you. Catherine Keary there from Red Lane Boutique in Tramore. An emotional opening. Call her in already. Red Lane is fab. There'll be a lot of emotion this morning with business owners opening their doors and with staff getting back to work as well, because it has been very, very difficult for so many different people. I know here in WLR, for example, we've got more staff coming back again, maintaining all the social distancing. But isn't it lovely to hear more ads on the radio? So, for example, we were hit very badly as advertising was pulled from different things, and it's coming back now. So it's great to hear it. Some people give out sometimes about radio stations that the ads might be too long. I'll tell you, folks, if it wasn't for the ads and if it wasn't for businesses supporting stations like WLR, we wouldn't be here providing the service that we need to provide, because we don't get government subsidies. There was a special COVID subsidy put in by the government just in the last few weeks to tide us over this thing, but basically all local stations, they don't get our licence fee money in that sense. So please, please, please support your local newspapers, support your local media organisations like WLR. Well done to every business today that is reopening. However tentative it is, however small steps are there, it's a very, very positive day, and that's what we're going to reflect here on the programme today.